So I'm going to go through all the questions here. And I start with, as the only candidate running, he's a small business owner, who, the location has had 7 failed ventures. It's the first location, still Johnny's Hot Dogs, for everybody remembers it. Well, most people should be. Some of them are customers, but I would put a sign that says opening in business. Absolutely. My name is Albany. I would put a sign that reads opening in business. And I know what is causing small business owners to struggle. And every other week, it looks like we have another small business that closes. One staple and Albany after the other. Elders just announced last night it's closing. What the heck's going to happen to Lark Street now? So we're going to get stuff going down to John's place if we try to have something to eat in Lark Street. The city's falling apart. So one of the things is you got to get rid of the permits that are making it hard for small businesses. That's one of the things. There's over a dozen permits I want to buy. Outdoor cafe permit, video amusement game device orders. Why do I need, as a small business owner, to pay $175 to put 2 tables outside of my store, and I don't even make the money on it? And $1 million liability insurance with the city. There's no point. Why do I need to pay the city for a permit to have an arcade game in my store when I don't make the money on it? There's no point to it. That's why these small businesses are falling apart. For pensions for city workers, I think that people, city workers that work and get their time in the city should get a pension. But elected officials, no. You should not have a pension if you're an elected official. You do your time and you go back to your job. I bet you wouldn't see any career politicians doing it if we had no pension for city officials. I bet you most of the people in the city go on to do I'm sorry, I'm not doing that.
Let's not drown anyone out.
Okay, so, all right, let me go to the next question. I'm trying to get everybody. Do what for businesses to hire people? Again, we got to make it easier for small businesses. Aside from those dozen crazy permits, property taxes are crazy. I don't own the place. I lease the place. So I pay $1,300 in rent. I pay $700 in National Grid utilities. My overhead is food. I make burgers and fries. So it's not like I'm making a lot of money. You come into my burgers all the time. You love my food. It's great food. But, I'm there 85 hours a week. When I first opened, when I did up what my hourly salary was, it was $1.85. I could make more money as a deli manager at a price shop. It's crazy. It's insane. That's why one business after the other is going. How many more? Retaining young people. Look, I'm the youngest candidate running. I'm the only campaign where we have volunteers collecting signatures, and a lot of people, Alex back there, Jeff, you're awesome. And, they're doing it for free. They're out there 6 to 8 hours in the sun, burning in the heat, collecting petitions to try to get us in the ballot. And many of you are awesome. You signed for us, and I appreciate that. And others, though, they slam the door on your faces. Or, they'll say, sorry, I'm not interested. So look into your hearts if you really want to, bring young people to the cities. We're trying very hard. I was out there 8 hours with people collecting. And it's not easy. And I'm the only independent candidate running. So I have to wait until the I call them Demopublicans, Republicans, I have to wait until the Demopublicans collect, and then we have to find the registered voters that didn't sign for them. I'm not doing the easy route. We are not doing the easy route. Right, Jeff? How do you do today, Jeff?
Did fairly well.
Excellent. For marijuana, people in here have called me the drug guy. I would legalize marijuana. Enough of this crap. When are we going to end this? This is absurd. We've arrested 45 million people in the war on drugs. When is it going to end? When is this stuff going to end? Really, most of you probably smoke pot. You don't stop being hypocrites. Who hasn't smoked pot? Really? I don't even smoke. But leave people alone. That's what it comes down to. Vacant property in the city. With a lot of property owners, it's so hard to turn a vacant building into a space to be used that it's better to let it sit there vacant and write it as a tax write-off. Again, ease the permits, ease the restrictions on vacant buildings so people can do construction and get them, property owners can actually turn these into useful places. For Wayne, the city, again, I just touched on that. If there's no jobs, there's no opportunity, of course they're going to leave. We've got some people, luckily, I went to school with, who have come back to Albany to help us with this campaign. But otherwise, most people, why do they think most of the people in Albany High have actually graduated? Because, yes, I was one of those Albany High dropouts, and most people, believe it or not, can relate more to me than any other candidate, because most people who went through the public school system in Albany have dropped out. you know, it's some, I'm sure everyone here knows somebody who dropped out of school. It doesn't mean anything. I have friends who went to college and got their bachelor's degrees, and now they're getting out of college, they're scratching their head. What am I supposed to do? And I dropped out in 9th grade, and I own a business. So where is this isn't making sense? What is wrong with it? You know, changes in the community, that's a Tool Fest, you know, in Albany, Tool Fest, Live at 5. You know, as we said, I'm a libertarian. I'm running as an independent candidate because we're not on the ballot. We got to get the Libertarian Party on the ballot right now. You know, I believe that Albany has always been, you know, it's a Dutch settlement. It's a progressive town. The cool thing about Albany that people love, look, you go to the festivals, you bring a towel, you bring a beer cooler, you sit down, you pound beers, and you rock out to the music. That's gone. We've lost that. That's what Albany, most of the people came to Albany that, you know, that they enjoyed. That's why you moved here, most people. So, you know, put it back to the way it was in these festivals, you know, what we grew up remembering. You know, crime rate, of course, crime rate's going to go up if, you know, there's no jobs, there's no opportunity, you know, no horrible education system. So that's, again, you provide more opportunity for people, provide more jobs for people, make it easier for small businesses. The more small businesses that open, the more jobs available. My first job was 13 cleaning Crank Park for the city, and I went on to work at Restaurant Paradiso, which is another place I know a lot. Mr. McInerney back there, who I remember very well, our resident historian. You know, and that's closed too. That's really sad, because these places were staples in Albany, and I grew up with them, a lot of us grew up with them, and they're gone. What is the approach to mental health? And when you have an insane, you know, a bloated bureaucratic system, it's natural. Like I know people who have gone to, you know, they get arrested or they get stopped by the police, or the police don't know what to do with them. They don't have an ID. You know, they send them to CPHB. Let them sort it out. That's illegal. I think that's unconstitutional. You know, CPHB. Yeah, CPHB. You know, I'm sorry, I'm on a roll right now. But you know, so you know, we have police who don't care, a city that doesn't care, a system that doesn't care. It's easy to fall through the cracks. You know, for vacant buildings, again, these permits, public schools versus private schools. After I dropped out Albany High in 9th grade, you know, I went to a free school for 11th grade. And I was the first of my class at the Albany Free School for the high school. And that's a school that's totally privately funded, and they don't turn down anybody, and it's on a sliding scale. So there's a school that's not costing taxpayers any money, and it's, you know, they don't turn anybody down. It's a great school. I had the people who went to the free school, I think, that graduated came out better off than the ones who were in Albany High. So, well, most of them. You know, public schools or private schools, legally blind. This year somebody brought up about legally blind. I know the Center for Legally Blind is in Washington, or?
Never.
Right. They order from my store all the time. You know, we're old Johnnies. But, you know, again, it goes back to what I would do with sidewalks, you know, more friendly for road crossing, you know, stuff like that. We have, what is the fiscal health of the city? Horrible, we don't know that. Turn over these greatest challenges into positives. Again, put it the way it used to be. You know, ease these permits, bring back small businesses, make it easier for people to open new businesses, ease the restrictions in the city. More than 60% of this property is tax exempt. I mean, you know, it's unfortunate, it's very unfortunate, but I don't know how much America can do is, you know, to force the state to pay for the pilots are the payments in lieu of taxes, which we all know all in history, you know, more than that, you know, when they built, let's say, explain it to Empire State Plaza, when they built the Empire State Plaza, you know, in return for wiping out all those residents and destroying those residential neighborhoods, which were, you know, tax revenue generators, the state agreed to pay the city the pilots, payments in lieu of taxes, where they would compensate fairly the city every year, or whatever, you know, what the city was losing out on the property value. And, you know, every year, as the state property expands, those tax-exempt properties, the payments become less and less. And politicians will talk about addressing it, but nobody addresses it. I think the best thing I could say is, as an independent candidate who has no allegiance to Democrats, Republicans, Republicans, you know, I would fight for that, because that's driving property taxes through the roof. You can take the state to court, possibly. You can make it. I mean, some people might campaign a little more radical, say dig up all the roads around the state campus. You know, which sometimes maybe that'll work if that'll get them to actually start compensating. It's just costing us thousands of dollars. So, you Hispanics in the process is Mr. Nathan LeBron's in the back. Well, for starters, I hired Nathan LeBron, but in my administration, because he's incredibly intelligent, and I think he'll bring great things to my, administration. But, I have no party allegiances, so I wouldn't bring people into my office based on party loyalties or favors. I'd bring them in based on merits and talent, just like this campaign is run, and just like my business is run. That's, so it shouldn't be about, affirmative action is not hiring people based on their race, but it's hiring people based on their merits and giving everyone equal opportunity based on their talent. Think globally, act locally, things like, legalize marijuana for one. I mean, that's shove it into the federal government. But, public transit, again, more buses. Why not green energy buses? Why not electric buses? Why not, people talk about a lot of these big projects, convention centers and whatnot, but what about like elevated train across major avenues in the city? It should be a growing city. Why not? What's the good? They've been building elevated trains for 100 years. It shouldn't be that hard, and I think that would be a better investment of money. Let me see what else. Parking. I mean, I know that people keep complaining about the parking, and that's an issue that's in the city. But, how many more parking ordinances and parking regulations are you going to put in? It's just going to keep becoming a problem. Why not look the other direction? Get rid of the parking meters, because I know people that they can't afford it. They get hit with a parking ticket. That's their whole paycheck right there. It's killing people. Poor people, it's killing them. People don't like the meters. Do what Saratoga did. Throw out every meter, take these vacant lots, build free car parking garages. Another great idea that would be a much better use of resources than convention centers and aquariums. And that way you're also promoting people to come to the city to spend money. My store, I sell coffee and donuts. The old Johnny's was always known for coffee and stuff. Well, nobody's going to pay $1 for 15 minutes to come into Johnny's Hot Dogs when they spend $1. And that's why there's been 7 places there since Johnny's Hot Dogs closed. That's why. The parking meters kill the happening. And you walk across Central Ave during the day, go there. There's nobody parked on Central Ave. You walk through a Waterworks parking lot, Washington Ave, where there's no meters are full. Well, we could put meters there, and then no one will park on Washington Ave either. So we're just expanding the problems. So I say throw all the meters out. People talk about, again, more big construction projects. Why not do the little thing? We can't keep building things when the things that we already have are going vacant. Put the YMCA back. Put the South Bend Valley House back. Put the benches back in Town State Park. Give people things to use. Build our communities. These are things that, these little quality of life issues go a long way for some people. They really mean a lot. Just to have a bench to sit on outside their apartment. It's the simplest solution, and, it means a lot to some people. And let me see what else we have. Abolish cabaret code. That just was retarded. Now, excuse my language. That was stupid. The cabaret code. That was totally stupid. Let me see what else. We already touched on disparity in sentencing. Well, against the stars legalizing marijuana, when it's a protest of the war on drugs nationally. The Libertarian Party has always stood for ending the war on drugs nationally, or federally. We give it back to the states, because it is unconstitutional whether we agree with it or not. Let the states decide. So that's something that I like the Libertarian Party for, and that's what they stand for. I'm sorry if you disagree with me. Support small business development, again, get rid of permits, fees restrictions, lower property taxes, and that's something that, look, we have 150 city officials, a city where thousands of people are living in poverty, and you have 150 city officials making over $100,000. Why is that? I don't think anyone should make any, for starters, no elected officials should make over $50,000. I've been saying, I know the Republicans said that since today now he cut his salary to $100,000, but I've been saying since October I don't cut my salary to $100,000. I could go on forever, but this is what we want to do. Go to the website, portelli.com, and support those young people that are out there campaigning for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.